Give us 60 minutes and we'll give you Nelson Radio every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. on KTLK AM 1150. With 29 years in the mortgage business and an array of top-level guests visiting the show, Nelson is in a unique position to bring you cutting-edge information on real estate, business, finance, and law. If you have any questions for Nelson or any of his guests, give him a call at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or check him out online at nelsonradio.com.
Nelson Radio.
This segment of Nelson Radio is brought to you by Changing a Generation, putting an end to human trafficking one child at a time.
Welcome back to Nelson Radio's 2013 year-end show. I'm Nelson, and we are showcasing some of our professional alliances. Here's the scorecard. We have alliances with key, credible, vetted out professional services throughout the Southland, whether that's obviously our own services with mortgage financing or insurances or legal services. You don't need to go out there and discover who's quality, who performs, who actually stands behind their word, who's accountable. We've done that work for you and want to encourage you to take a look at nelsonradio.com. Check out all of our professional alliance partners. You can click through at nelsonradio.com. You can also call me direct at 888-2136. I want to make certain you also know about our 12-step process to improve and improving performance. We call it our Be a Beast training video. You can find out, again, more about that on nelsonradio.com or simply text the word BEAST to 313131. We all have to perform, whether it's in the locker room or in the boardroom or at home. This training video is about taking your performance to a higher level. With that, I want to welcome Tim Dean, the president of Insurance Inc., into our studio. And Tim, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So you've been busy. You've got the Obama debacle of healthcare, and it's one of the many facets of insurances that you provide. But I've got to ask, is it just like trying to get around the I-5 on commuter traffic?
Yeah, it's been quite crazy over the last 2 months, figuring out the Obamacare and where it's going and what's going to happen next is really the surprise issue we're waiting on.
Well, that's one element, the health benefits that you provide, but your insurance services cover a wide variety of different insurances. And I just wanted to ask you on homeowners insurance to begin with. A lot of common mistakes that people make. And you and I talk about this as you work with my clients. I refer them over to you. But so many people, as an example, don't carry liability insurance. Nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the crazy part. That's the coverage that's going to protect you from lawsuits, any type of personal lawsuits with the exception of criminal acts. Let's say you're golfing and you hit someone with a golf ball and injure them, or they trip and fall on your property, or you have a party and someone gets injured. That's the coverage that's going to protect your assets, your home, your trust, everything you own.
Why do insurance companies leave that off, especially in California, the most litigious state in the union? Why would they leave that off?
Generally, it's offered. The limits that come with it is usually a very low limit, $100,000. Or you'll get agents that try to get creative, and instead of selling you a proper homeowner's policy, they'll sell you a dwelling fire policy that only covers your property for fire hazard. And we see that quite a bit. So you want to be looking for something that it says an HO3 or an HO5, that is the proper form for a homeowner's.
Let me ask you about other mistakes. And you with the carriers that you represent, the same way that I've come into my relationship with you as a proven performer, you've gone out and done the same vetting process with the insurance carriers. I know my own testimony. Get this. I had one insurance carrier for my homeowner's insurance for 14 years. Had a claim, they satisfied the claim, and then canceled my policy for having too many claims. 14 years, one claim, and then they canceled the policy for having too many claims.
Well, I can't really speak to the carrier, but generally that's when you want to get your agent involved. I mean, one claim on a homeowner's, usually they don't cancel you.
Yeah.
Unless you have
There's other issues that lurk out there in terms of being with the wrong carrier or a loss leader in terms of price, but then they don't perform when it comes to
price,
when you need them.
Be careful on price shopping, and I'm not saying that you can't find a competitive price, but make sure you have all the coverages. make sure when you're calling around, you're going to compare one quote to the other, that you have a quote in writing discussing the same coverages with the competing agent so that you're getting an apples to apples comparison. I can't tell you how many times we get people that call me, say they want a homeowner's quote, and I ask them what coverages they have. They have no clue. Well, they're going to get an apple to oranges comparison. They're not going to get anything that they really need, which is, hey, this company A is just as competitive as company B, but they're giving me less coverage. So,
are there 5 or 6 automatic things that you just have to ask for, or does it vary? Is it customized from one policy to the next?
Well, location of your home is number one. Square footage is another thing that they'll ask for. Claims questions, if you've had prior claims.
One claim.
Yeah. You're going to want to be upfront with it, because now insurance companies have information banks where once I put your address and name in there, it searches through a bank of claims and it can find any past claims you've had.
Just like DMV. You have everybody's history.
Yeah, they have your history now. So trying to play that game, generally you'll get your policy for a day and the carrier will run that report, and the next day you're canceled for not disclosing something. So be upfront. Let your agent do the work of figuring out what route to take you. Now, the difference between our company and some of the other insurance agents out there is some of the other companies, they can only represent one insurance company. So your choice is limited. It's whatever they're having to offer is what's there. With our insurance agency, we're directly appointed with about 10 to 15 different major insurance companies. So if company A may not fit your niche, we can move you over to company C, company D, and we can find the proper one that fits you in your area, in your position in life, and find the proper one, because not every carrier's, right for everybody.
You're listening to Nelson Radio. I'm with Tim Dean from Insurance Inc. You can contact us direct, 888-888-2136, or click through to nelsonradio.com, and you'll be able to get in direct contact with Insurance Inc. You've been in this business for many, many years. Number one frustration that you have as an insurance provider
is gathering the information we need to get you the quote that you need.
Give you pieces of the puzzle, or
we'll get people that'll, let's say you buy an office building and you just purchased the office building. You don't know when the roof was last updated or the plumbing or the electrical. Well, those are all things that carriers are looking at, saying, have they modernized the building? Is this less likely to have a fire? And if that's the case, they're more apt to give you more credits. So it's important to know about the building you bought and what the condition was when you bought it, when things were last updated. So getting a construction report when you were purchasing something, that can be very helpful to your insurance agent.
How does that cross over to the residential side, where, okay, an appraisal is being done, a home inspection is being done, but generally speaking, those are cosmetic reviews?
Usually in the construction inspections, they will bring about reports that will give us the information, like it's on circuit breakers. Well, the home might be 1940, where in 1940 they didn't have circuit breakers. So that tells the carrier it's been updated. So we can pull information from those construction reports that will help us get you coverage. And we deal with homes going back to the 1800s all the way up to brand new homes. And each one has a different feature, different risks, and the carriers are going to ask different questions.
There's so many different facets of insurance. In terms of what you provide, and you cover all the different insurance types, but in terms of regions, California only?
No, we're licensed in about 30 states, expanding as time goes by, but right now about 30 states.
So investors that are buying properties in other states, they can resource their insurance coverages through you as well.
Correct.
There's a lot to find out about. You're listening to Tim Dean, the president of Insurance Inc., vetted out professional, one that I highly endorse and use my own insurance services for. You can find out his contact information by calling me direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136, or click through at nelsonradio.com. Tim, thanks for clearing a little bit of the air. There's so much more to cover. We'll have you back on the program.
Well, thank you for having me.
Hang in there with us. We'll be right back.
This segment of Nelson Radio is brought to you by Changing a Generation, putting an end to human trafficking one child at a time.
Offer extended. Offer not accepted. Extended, not accepted. This is Nelson with Nelson Radio, and you're challenged by today's rush to real estate, all combined with a concern that by the time you find your dream home, higher rates will price you out of the market. I've got the answer.
With my Mortgage Market exclusive lock and shop rate guarantee, you can freeze today's low interest rates, shop for your new home, all with a peace of mind that your rate is waiting for you at the finish line. Today's rate, protected and waiting for you to purchase your perfect house. Call or click, take advantage of my mortgage experience. 888-888-2136 and lock in your rate. That's 888-888-2136. Squash fear from perhaps the most important decision, your home. 888-888-2136 or click through on strongcreditrewards.com.